Actually, this is literally since my sister's wedding. So like over a week, this is my facial hair.
Oh, okay. I think I've got everything going. Um, Hold on. Let me turn this fan.
That'll work. This week I got both my pillows. I should have had this one up last week when we were discussing the comparisons.
I see. Yeah. I'm going to say that excuse me. We're good. We could start if you wanted to.
Let's do it. Hello everyone and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem.
Woo, crazy.
I'm here with my buddy Kyle, who is also our producer and producer of Breaking Geek. He does a wonderful job. And we are here to discuss Miss Marvel Episode 3, Destined. But before we go into that, I want to thank our sponsor, Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. I'm not gonna, if I make the pause any more pregnant, we're just gonna lose people because they're like, "What? Did the podcast stop?" Dead silence is not good.
No.
And we're also on the Genreverse podcast network, also be found at lrmonline.com. We'll talk about the shows at the end. But yeah, we're on any, as I always say, any streaming service as far as audio that's worth going to. So here we are.
Here we are. No, sorry. It just reminds me whenever someone says like "here I am, there I am" or something like that. I always hear Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where Johnny Depp walks into the hotel after he leaves the city and comes back in and he's like, "So there I was," and then sitting there in the hotel's the real
Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson. He's like, "Holy shit, there I am."
I haven't seen that movie in too long to remember.
I love that scene.
I've always seen it under an incredible amount of marijuana in the past. So I
have not watched that movie under the influence of anything other than alcohol. I should add that to the list.
Add it to the list. Like Cap's weed list. Oh, today, so we were discussing Miss Marvel Episode 3, Destined, which I wrote 3 pages of notes about.
Jesus.
I had to cross out most of my notes.
I was going to say, there's not that much to talk about.
Here's what I want to start by saying. I feel like most Marvel shows dip in episode 3 and 4, like the middle act, like, you know, even the ones I kind of said this in our chat on you can look at right now on
Discord
under Marvel Multiverse of whatever Mayhem.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But I said that like, you know, it's the weakest act in most shows, and I know I'm biased. I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even though it's probably one of the least well-made ones. But like, this might be the best 3rd episode in any series. WandaVision not counted, like the best midway point. Like, because a lot of them, this is where the shows lag, and this is really, I feel, where like even those who have been against the show might get very interested in the show. Maybe, what are your thoughts?
I agree that a lot of these shows seem to hit filler pretty quickly, or the 3rd or 4th episode will be like the shortest one. Kenobi also did that.
Yes.
Check out our review of the finale up already on the Genreverse podcast network
and YouTube, Cantina, where we are also on. I forgot to mention YouTube.
That's all right. But yeah, this was another great episode. I looked at Christine after we finished watching, and I said, Christine's my wife for those that aren't in on the LRM and Genreverse mythos, if you will. Mythos. I love that. The legend. Like that. The legend. But I looked at her. She's like, you enjoying this? I was like, yeah. I was like, it's better than Kenobi.
I like it a lot.
It's better than Kenobi. I have to lift up both arms because I can never see. I did it again. It's better than Kenobi, says the guy with the giant Star Wars
maybe
tattoo.
the Miss Marvel tattoo.
So I mean, this one I got it's like a memorial to the death of the Ghostbusters, which I got in 2016, and this Ninja Turtles one that I got, I designed both of these, but it's like a war memorial after the turtles died from the Bay produced Turtles movie. So.
Another reason to watch us on YouTube to not only see his tattoos, but he has really styled hair today. Kyle does. Oh. It looks nice. Anyway, we gotta talk about Miss Marvel.
Oh, someone in the comments from last last episode saying that my beard trim and haircut were fire. I appreciate that.
I agree. Fire. So it doesn't sound like you liked it as much as I did. But what did you think?
I thought it was.
Was it your favorite of the season so far?
No, it's not my favorite. It's got good stuff in it. We'll talk about in the spoilers. But it has something that isn't a knock against it in quality or anything. It's just simply a personal thing, and that's the dance went on too long. I don't care for musicals.
Nope, you didn't like him a hot guy either.
And I personally hate dancing. Like, and I've had plenty of female partners that like to do grinding and stuff. I'm more of the like, we could do this elsewhere, just the two of us, if that's what you want to do. And I don't necessarily mean having sex, but if you want to grind and stuff, like, I don't need a whole bunch of other sweaty bodies around me. So it's not
this is a
my
much
thing.
Different dance than that.
I'm saying
I get it slowing down the plot.
No, not just that. I was saying, like, even if I'm the one doing fun dancing, I still don't, it does nothing for it. I don't like it. I don't care for it. So not extended musical number with dancing and stuff. It was cute as far as like, yeah, I can see it's funny. The little like pop references and stuff in this traditional
the
thing.
Kid in the Hulk shirt.
It, yeah, but it's not for me. So yeah, it's not for me. But like I said, it's not a knock against it in quality or anything like that.
Two really quick points before we get back to Miss Marvel. Have you seen the last Boys episode? Do you watch the Boys?
Episode 5, yeah.
Yeah. So. How was that dance? Just really quick. Was that a better musical for you or the same?
No.
Okay.
I don't care.
Second story. I was only grinded upon once in a dance. And it's because I was wearing a jacket at like a New Year's Eve party on top of like one of the fancy LA hotels. And it's because all the boys were sending over their girlfriends because I thought I had drugs because I was wearing a jacket. I was just dancing. I was just next to the DJ hanging out. But anyway, back to the show. I just thought it was a funny antidote.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's one of the most disappointing nights of my life. But I will say again, this is my favorite episode of the series. I think it's one of the stronger middle parts. It's really funny. I laugh at it now. I laughed at it that night when the first person was like, "Oh, are you holding ecstasy?" And I'm like, "What?" That's why I don't go to dances or musicals. But I mean, without going into spoilers, I can also say the reason this episode was really cool. We've always been talking about the Islamic culture that's weaved in and out. It's even stronger than I would say Black Panther is because Wakanda's a fictional nation, and we're delving into the actual culture.
I mean, they based a lot of the stuff in Black Panther on actual African cultures. I forget the name of the one that the language came from as well. I mean, there's a lot of authentic stuff there. It's not all just made up. But yeah,
it's definitely the best they've done since then. Like with Shang-Chi, they didn't hit the same chord as this or anything.
Well, it depends. Shang-Chi, they're not aiming at a Chinese superhero. They're aiming at a Chinese American, Asian American. Yeah.
But even when he goes back to China and stuff, it's not as much as this.
Well, it's because it's not about China. It's about him. It's a bit different. The target's different. Yeah. But anyways, go ahead.
'Cause I just think like as far as a mainstream audience, I don't think I've ever seen such a delve into Islamic culture as we've discussed past weeks. I mean, it shows up like
stuff. No,
yeah, mainstream. Like in the past, it's 24, and it's because they're the terrorist family, because they're the Islamic or the Muslim family. But I have to be careful how I use Islamic and Muslim, because one refers to the people, one refers to the culture and the religion. And then we actually get some baddies. Finally, we know who the bad guys are, and there's action scenes against bad guys. Yes, but we're not in spoilers yet. But yes, we are rocking. And there's Jurassic Park references in this that I felt were really super strong. And I didn't say we get into spoilers. You want to do our little commercial interruption, or do you have something else to say non-spoilery?
No, I think it was a fine show. Did you want to give them grades before spoilers or something?
I'll give it an A.
You give it an A? I could do B plus.
I don't know what I've given past episodes, so
yeah. B plus works. All right, Grow Generation people, chit chat. I don't even that's the wrong thing. That's the intro. Try this.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. From propagation to harvest, they have everything you need for your special garden. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
I'd be laughing. No, we wouldn't restart. I'd be laughing my ass off right now if it was the whole thing. Hey, thank you guys so much for sponsoring the episode. And yeah, Nick, we're all set, man.
Let's get into spoiler
stuff.
All right, you were right. Mom's bad news. And this is very interesting. I found
Cameron's mom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Cameron, Khram. She is connected to Aisha, which I thought, like you kind of mentioned, maybe they're the same. I mentioned they're maybe the same person. No, you mentioned they're maybe the same person. And I said,
I said, didn't the lady coming out of the clouds look like the lady in the car? But yeah,
we're seeing Aisha in the cloud.
Yeah,
right. Because we also see a train in this episode, which ties back to her being lost as a child at the train station. And we now know how they've worked them into the MCU without bringing the Inhumans back in. Yeah. Which is they're the Jinn, in popular culture, if you know the term, it's like genie, usually. They use another word for it in this episode, but I actually crossed that part out because I have other stuff to talk about.
I was going to also say, did you notice the hand that
it was blue?
It's Kree, so that's another Inhuman tie because the Kree are responsible for the Inhumans from their experiments here on Earth. So
I wrote that note, but I crossed it out because they're trying to avoid the Inhumans after their unsuccessful show.
Well, I'm saying it's like a nice little wink
because I saw the blue arm and I wrote that down. But then they call themselves the Jinn. They've been exiled from their dimension.
Yeah, you're good.
We get to see a 1942 flashback where we do get to see Aisha. And we learn why they all look young still. They're basically the Eternals in a way. Like, not exactly the Eternals, but they're from a different dimension. They've been exiled. They want to get home. And they need the power of Kamala and the Bangle to work together to get them home. Because apparently they need someone from this dimension who's also related to the other dimension to power it. So Kyle... And obviously, they're using her body. They just want, gross. They just want her to die. They will burn her out to get back. Like they talk about, they need the power of the sun.
They don't care what it's going to take. It's Bruno kind of figures some stuff out. But
Bruno
what's your
has
question?
Dr. Sleving's, like he talks about Selving's stuff, which I was like, I love Marvel shout outs. But and she also the line was like, so I'm not an Asgardian.
Yeah.
But my question was, so is that the only reason they're not using the son, Karam, is because they don't want to kill him? Because he also is half in this world. Unless, he's probably the child of two of them.
Possibly. All of the like familial stuff and who's who from where isn't quite.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
I did
with
love
the wedding.
I did love the moment where the Jinn are talking about their longevity and stuff, and one of the older males says, "Except him, he's 17."
She's like, "Thank God."
And I love Kamala's reaction, and I told Christine it's like they nipped the Buffy issue in the bud because you got Buffy who's like the 17-year-old girl in the vampire slayer, and she's in love with Angel, who's like a 300-year-old vampire. It's like, no, that's not quite right.
Even
right,
Marvel's kind of done it.
Marvel has
like
well,
Bucky going on a
everyone's
date.
had
Captain Rogers kissing his girl's niece, right? Yeah, she's not daughter.
Well,
niece.
yeah, but she wasn't 16 years old.
No, that's
Buffy's a
true.
kid with a
I didn't think of that part.
hundreds of years old vampire with a 16, 17-year-old high.
That's
high
a little
school
darker.
Girl. Like, yeah,
a 100-year-old man with a 30-year-old woman.
Exactly. I was saying, so that kind of helps it in this show that they were like, no, this guy's 17. He's normal.
And just a few more details about it. They call the dimension Nor, which means light. And they are
dimension.
the clandestines is what they call them. So the jinn is the term that's most applied to them, which of course is part of culture. I think anywhere in Africa, that's the term for genie, basically. Right? I'm
not 100% sure where it's limited, but I mean, neither India nor Pakistan is anywhere near Africa, so
that's true. But I think it's you're right. I might be wrong, but jinn is something I knew for some reason outside of the show. One thing I want to discuss this week is something we touched on last week. Sure. The use of 9/11 / DODA or DODC, Department of Damage Control, and the racist element that actually does exist in this show. There's a lot more of it this episode, with lines like, when they're there, they get asked, "Are you here because you're looking for an enhanced person, or because this is a mosque?" And there's other lines like,
answer.
Yeah, and the shoes thing, which they showed her feet immediately wearing shoes into a mosque, and she's going to do it again if she comes back. She doesn't. This Department of Damage Control agent is a prick.
They seem to be that way, but they're still not explaining why, and they also show them carry away the jinn very aggressively. So It makes you think, are they just frustrated at having come after these? And again, I'm not defending
I still think
them,
it's mostly superhero stuff, but that layer is 9/11 layers
right
here.
But again, I'll point this out. You guys don't have that as an established thing in the MCU, so seeing high government officials in the MCU do things like this still feels out of place, and it almost feels similar to some of the tiptoeing they did around some issues in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where they're like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna leave it up to you guys, and if you guys see it as commentary on something, then good. But we're not committing to it, because like I said, they're obviously there for something. We know that there are some bad jinn, and they mesh with that demographic. So like I said, I don't know what they're doing. I see it just like you do, but it doesn't fit right. It doesn't fit well within the MCU and the way it operates, the way the government's operated. Now doing the whole anti-hero thing, anti-powered enhanced thing, yeah, that exists, but then you can't conflate the two without establishing it as a, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. But I have one more line or two I want to quote, and then I have a counter to that. Okay, so there's a line like we need another target on our backs, is what Kamala's best friend tells her, and they're looking for a good Muslim versus bad Muslim, self-surveillance. Might be another line or two, but the main thing I want to respond to you, Iron Man. Iron Man opens with a very realistic, real-world video of them threatening to cut off a rich billionaire's head in a very Islamic or terrorist thing that we would have definitely seen in 2008. So I don't think the Marvels. I believe everything up until Iron Man has happened in their universe too. They don't need to say it, but there's been a 9/11. Obviously, he was there.
Dude, you're doing mental gymnastics.
No, I'm just saying. But even there,
he's
selling weapons to.
I got that. But
soldiers against Iraq, Nick, or Afghanistan.
Again, we're not talking about some random geopolitical movements, none of which were done because of a person having a racist grudge against someone, you know, as far as America's actions in Afghanistan or anything like that. We're talking about in this show, you have a government agency that's acting like a real world situation in the early 2000s, but in a universe where that hasn't been established. As a matter of fact, we've gone out of our way to show that the MCU is a very well-diverse universe with a well-diverse government and a well-diverse military and a well-diverse science. Like, it doesn't fit, and that's my only thing. I get the commentary. I get why they want to make the commentary, because shit like that happens in real life. However,
trying to show that side of post 9/11 world.
I got that, but again, and I was bitching about awful writing in Star Wars and illogical bullshit that you just fit in because we want to. If it doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. You guys wrote this into it, so I cannot accept something that is so connected. Everything's connected. Everything flows. And that's the problem with like Kenobi and stuff, and even the prequels feeding into the original trilogy in Star Wars. If you've created something, no matter what, you have to cope with that, unless you're willing to do reboots or like, we're rewriting history through time travel and shit like that. You have to cope with the world that you created. So if you want to make a comment on something that is still relevant for some, but mostly relevant from over a decade ago, then you need to reestablish that story-wise. Because right now it really feels like hey, do you guys remember what it was like in 2010, 2009? Like that doesn't fit with the MCU we've had.
This is gonna be a great
forever.
Because I'm gonna counter that also.
With what? Go ahead.
Well, I forgot the first part of what I was going to say, but the first part I was going to say is that people should probably be more worried about aliens from space than different religions, terrorist cultures. But we know how the world works. Obviously, in Watchmen,
that hasn't happened.
We saw that doesn't work. Watchmen showed us that doesn't work. It just distracts us for a little bit. Then we're back to fighting each other. But I think that's because this is the first show from the Muslim perspective. Because they do still deal with shit like this. Like, even if they're not being watched, they're like, well, we're being watched. Not in a paranoid way, but they're just like Asian Americans these days are getting more and more attacks on them by people, and as things that we don't even see as racist sometimes, but they're like, well, that person was just, it's all perspective, and this is from the perspective of a Muslim
official
creator.
Government and is there official government people doing that and flashing their badges around with the behavior that we see? Does it happen? Yes. Does a cop go off and do something bad? Yes. You keep going. That's what I keep saying, man. You keep missing the point on this. Is if it's an individual treating them badly because they're Muslim, that is 100% a bad cop doing it. Got it. Even one bad judge in the area doing. Yeah. All of that is real. We're not talking about individuals, Nick. We're talking about the DODC, Department of Damage Control, having a very obvious issue potentially with Muslims, and that does not fit with the MCU that has been created. I don't know why people so desperately need guys, our government is as bad as is bad enough in real life. Why do you need to continuously try to make something in an invisible imaginary world that you created completely different? Like the idea that Sam Wilson wasn't going to be able to have the shield because he was a black man, and I kept saying that's not going to be it. And you and others were like, "Oh, that's it, and it's going to be that's what it's going to be." And when the show came out and the whole thing had nothing to do with Sam Wilson being a black man with the shield, there were people literally. No, it didn't.
He's turned in the shield to the museum, and they give the shield to the whitest guy in the United States.
Dude, oh my, Nick, we went over this in the damn reviews. There was no person in the government that said Sam Wilson as a black man can't.
No one literally said it.
No, there was not even any projection for it. There was no projection. Who projected that? Because all it was about what the past had done and the past institutionalized bullshit, everything going on with Isaiah, what it meant and what it made Sam feel over time. Not some agency saying we can't have a black man with the shield. There was where's the button for that? Where? It's not.
I feel like
that wasn't the issue.
So let
me ask that.
Ask me
why does it need to be? Because here's the real fact. Our government all of ours, and by ours I mean the entire Western world. Because anybody that honestly thinks that the United States is somehow the worst of the worst, let me guarantee to you guys that the Brits, the French, the Spanish, and the Portuguese all did things that make fucking Hitler look well adjusted. Okay, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, Europeans committed some of the worst atrocities to ever be visited upon this planet. So the whole fucking group is screwed up. Here in the United States, you don't have to go very far to find fucked up shit that the government has done. Everything from fucking Midnight Climax to World War I chemical and biological weapons tests to Tuskegee experiments. You could go on and on and on with how bad government is in reality. Okay, so if you establish something, you have Rhodey doing all sorts of big things. You have Sam Wilson. You have other minority characters, women, all these groups in the MCU doing things. Why would it all of a sudden make sense for the government to become, especially after Thanos, incredibly racist? Well, and why did people want that in the show?
Well, that's part of the point I was trying to make, and I put it the wrong way. I think it's more a paranoia based on the history from their viewpoint than it is the DODC actually intending it to be that way.
Okay, so
but
why would
they talk about from their perspective? It's not like they're hunting down
so it's what I
Muslims.
Said
yes, I just worded it wrong. Yeah, they're hunting down heroes, but when you see a government agency coming into your mosque, from your perspective, you think it's more than, like, everything I quoted was said by a Muslim character,
yes,
not a government character.
Yes, I get that, because they're hearkening to things that existed in our. No, I still think you agree. I still think you are thinking the way that you said you were. Nocta, the female that runs for the
I don't remember the character's name. But runs for the
board member of the
mosque.
Okay, she is spouting things that, yes, in our world still happen, but happen more from government and official people in the past more than it does now. But yes, still happens. And again, I'll point out, I'm not debating those types of experiences at all. I'm not saying that they're not real. I'm saying having DODC come in and appear to be, and for all we know, they are going to go the full racist route.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they will, because, like I said, they've been tiptoeing. It's more likely the enhanced, and here's just them. And they might even connect and say, yeah, 9/11 did happen.
Well, they don't even need to say
but
that.
Here's the thing. You're doing similar to what you did with the loan thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You left it open for people to say, oh, he didn't give him the loan because he was black. But even in the conversation that they give, he gave legitimate reasons on not giving Sam Wilson the loan. Where have you been for 5 years? You have no history.
I'm not even,
you know what I'm saying
about that scene. I was talking about the shield.
But this is a similar situation where you have this
no,
group.
It's their perspective. Yes. Just like the loan. No. Just like the loan scene where he's like, they didn't give it to me because I was black.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's Disney not. Well, no. It's just Disney not being. They realize they haven't created the world that they need to make some of these conversations the way that for some people need to be beat over the head with something completely bluntly, instead of, how wonderfully well written it can actually be, how wonderfully well written everything with Isaiah was and Falcon and Winter Soldier. And here again, Preach. we're wanting to hit something that you could hit on in more personal ways then all of a sudden having some government agency, which again, and my whole thing has been, there's no inclination that a lot of the institutionalized or even the historical issues with this group, at least in particular, we did cover history for African Americans and blacks in the country in the previous shows. But there's nothing in there for that. So it makes it stand out. And that's been my only issue. And I believe, like you've said, it's more likely going to be enhanced. I just don't know why Disney wants to do again this tiptoe where it's like it could be that if that tickles your fancy, sure. It's annoying because it doesn't fit. It would be like having all of a sudden, crap, I missed the point. I had a point and I was keeping it. It doesn't fit with the MCU they've created. They needed to use a different group of people to intimidate them if that's what if they were wanting it to,
like the FBI line last week.
Yeah, it just,
where it's not the DODC, it's the FBI are already monitoring them.
I mean, and why are the FBI monitoring them? See what I'm saying? Like it doesn't fit with the MCU,
life. Even though we're in a post-Thanos world where everyone got wiped out.
And that's another aspect. Like, and me, I've always said Marvel is the place for political commentary, for modern contemporary commentary. Marvel does it because that's all of their heroes are based on real humans, versus DC being gods first in human
gods
disguise,
who want to be humans who want to be gods.
Right. And so
DC versus Marvel.
Mostly.
In
a nutshell. So I agree, but you still have to make it logical. It still has to fit within the world that you've created. And fortunately, in my mind, because I love the MCU in general, they created a really good world filled with mostly good people, where the bad guys, it kind of goes back to being an old-fashioned wrestling fan. I liked it when you had your baby faces and your heels, your good guys and bad guys. And the lines were clear and drawn. And here in the Marvel universe, it's very superhero-y. And you can still make a lot of great commentary. Falcon and Winter Soldier did a great job. Moon Knight did a good job with behavioral health. But as soon as you start dumbing it down or going into things that don't fit the world, just to be like a hey this, especially when you could change it and have something a little bit more personal within God, what community is she in Jersey? I forget it.
I don't know the area.
But you could have groups, causing issues for them, where in a very realistic, the way it still happens today. It's not so much the big bad government for them, although that still does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but in the MCU, there's been no indications of any of that. The government, other than trying to get all the superheroes to
sign an agreement or fuck off,
and you already
or go
got
to
rid
the
of,
raft.
And we know Disney is always afraid of like
anything political.
Well, no. They're not afraid of anything political. They're afraid of like they made the Empire before Disney was racist and sexist. Now the Empire's filled with women and minorities.
They were Nazis originally. Stormtroopers.
They were actually more like the Americans in Vietnam. But
someone did bring that up on our chat. And I thought they were joking.
No,
I saw Lucas, that on Twitter.
Lucas
actually
even mentioned that himself
on Twitter. Someone said like, dude, that you're wrong. That would mean that the Americans are the Empire, and it's like, kind of.
America's got some bad shit. You see, that's the thing, and I hope people that have been listening to us have this discussion realize that I am not defending the U.S. government and absolving them of things. I'm specifically talking to writing within the MCU
absolutely.
And logic, because I've spent the last 4 weeks bitching about illogical shitty writing on Kenobi.
Let's not bring Star Wars into this anymore.
So yeah, and now we've gone completely off the rails, way over our time. What else we got?
Okay, I'm almost done. I wanted to mention one more thing about the evil government that has nothing to do with the evil government. I like that their weapons sound like Stark weapons, and they kind of dress like Hydra. And they kind of dress like Hydra a little bit.
Yeah.
Not the comics Hydra, the Hydra we've seen in them. And I'm not saying that leads to their political beliefs. It's just interesting they've kind of adopted the same thing past superhero fighters have adopted.
I think it's like phase 2 weapons from
like
Avengers
he was talking about in Avengers,
like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the
drones are definitely Stark drones too. So
yeah, that's what I thought. And then obviously Jurassic Park thing I was referencing is the kitchen scene. Really cool. Definitely a Jurassic Park reference. And then the last thing I wanted to say is one of the main points of the episode, which got said over and over again, and I liked it, is that, there's a line about like, you are not good, you do good. And there's also the whole point of you're not alone as long as you love your family. Those were two of the main points of this episode, as Kamala doubted herself whether she was betraying people or being a hero. And they've really hammered it home that it's all about family, surrounding yourself with your family so you don't feel so alone, and doing good. Not like Nick isn't good, Nick does good, assuming I did good, but I don't. Yeah. So those are my last points.
it's a good show, and other than that one yeah, it's a good show, and other than that one thing where, and like I said, they leave it so ambiguous and it feels so out of place within the MCU. I've had no complaints about the show, and like I said, the dance thing, it's just not for me. I don't hate it because it's bad. It's just, it's not for me. So
dance.
I wouldn't take anything. I wouldn't knock any score points off of it because I don't like the dance or anything like that. I'm one of those people where even things that I don't necessarily like, I can see talent. Funny anecdote as we get ready to wrap up. The first American Idol, when that came out, I walked in on my mom and my sister watching an episode. It was like one of the early episodes too. I asked what it was, singing competition. Kelly Clarkson was singing. I said she wins, and they're like, "Well, this is super early." I was like, "Okay, she wins." And then like months later or however long later, she actually wins. So like, even if I don't like something, I can tell when something's good versus something bad.
Or it plays into my roommate's theory from yesterday.
What's
where
that?
I was like, you should go on MasterChef. He's applying for a job to be a main chef at whatever they call the top chef at like a retirement home.
The chef, yeah.
Executive chef.
There you go.
And I was like, you should go on that. And he's like, they probably pick the person before the show starts who's gonna win. And I was like, maybe. And that's what you just spotted. Kelly Clarkson is like, that's the person they pick to win the show.
No, she was an amazing singer. She had really good set of lungs and voice on her. She had a lot of power sitting there singing, and I dug it. I don't care for her style, but
casting director, then why am I doing the podcast with you?
Casting director.
No, I'm just joking. If you're that good at spotting talent, then why am I doing this with you?
Because you have no talent, Nick.
I need to make you look good. I'm here to make you look good. Ready to wrap her up?
Yeah, man, absolutely. You want me to? No, I did it
last week.
I can do
it. I'll do it. I was shocked you did it last week because I'm supposed to be practicing. Find all of our videos on YouTube under the Genre Podcast Network. We're
Genreverse.
Also Genreverse. Ooh, already fucking it up. We're also on. You can find all of our news articles and videos and podcasts on lrmonline.com. We have many podcasts on the Genreverse Podcast Network. We got Breaking Geek. We got the Katina. If you want to hear Kyle freak out about, I haven't finished Obi-Wan yet, but I'm sure Kyle's gonna freak out about Obi-Wan. We got the genre. No, has our secret one started back up yet? Did that start this week? Okay, secret one stays secret. We have Universal reviews. Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, which you're watching right now. I feel like I forgot some.
Just the genre shot trailer reactions.
Genre shot trailer reactions, which is still my favorite thing that we do, and I'm not even involved. I just wish # make Kyle watch the trailer for Nope. But nope, that's the correct answer. But
not happening.
I'm at Geeky Nick Doll. That's at that Kyle Malone, and with all that, Excelsior.
It's been fun. Enough said.